Oh, hi. I don't remember ordering a dirty little Just kidding. It's just you, a member of the Absent Fathers Club. Welcome back. I made myself a chai latte. I almost burnt down the house doing it because I forgot. Mom, if you're watching, I need you to click off. I forgot I was making it, and I have so much to get done tonight because I leave tomorrow for the holidays. I started the milk on the stove, and then I was like, I need to go do laundry. I walked to the laundry room, pass it, go to my room and start cleaning my makeup brushes. So laundry didn't get done. And the chai latte did proceed to overflow, and Ainsley had to stop it from getting any worse. I'm not proud. I actually did almost cry over it. I can't even focus right now. Focus on me. Oh my god, I'm literally Ariana Grande. Well, if you're new here, welcome to the Absent Fathers Club. My name is Lavender, and we are getting into today one of the most anticipated videos from my channel this year. This is one of my best performing videos from last year, but it is my end of year album ranking. If you're new here, there are rules to the album ranking, but we won't get into those right now. I still believe that 2024 was one of the best years we've had in pop music and in music in general for a very long time. 2024 was absolutely incredible, and we just haven't really seen anything like that this year because last year we had Brat, Short and Sweet, The Torture Poets Department. The Rise and Fall of Midwest Princess didn't come out last year, but it did have its big moment last year. And I know that there's a lot that I'm forgetting, but such incredible albums came out last year that really defined the year. This year I would not say that we had an album that necessarily like we didn't have a Brat summer, we didn't have an Espresso summer this year. No, we kind of had a Showgirl autumn, but I'm not saying that just because an album defined the year means it was good. We'll get to that. It's gonna be a long one. I don't wanna waste any time really. How this video is gonna work is we have 4 different categories. We have number 1, perfection, number 2, great, number 3, mediocre, and number 4, disappointing. We're gonna start on mediocre because I don't want to start with the disappointing albums. I feel like it's gonna make a lot of people angry, and I just don't like starting off on a bad note. So we're gonna start with mediocre. We're gonna go to great, we're gonna go to disappointing, and then we're going to go to perfection. There's only 5 albums in perfection. There's only ever 5 albums in perfection. Even if I think number 6 is a perfect album, it's not going to make it into the top 5. So that's the essential way that this video is going to work. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's jump into it. All right, starting off the mediocre category at number 34. It's Not That Deep by Demi Lovato. No, wait, not me already changing my mind. Sorry, I forgot to like re-rank these beforehand, so we might be adjusting things a little bit. Number 34, V by Doja Cat. Kiss me like a mirror, I'm in like a queer. She is lucky. I'm saying this very kindly because I love Doja Cat. She is lucky not to be in disappointing this year. V is by far, in my opinion, her second weakest project yet. I like V, but the problem is V just did not have the hard-hitting tracks the last 3 albums had, especially for a project produced by Jack Antonoff. And you know, on this channel, we do not slander Jack Antonoff at all. In fact, I felt like he could have helped some artists this year. Jack Antonoff is one of the greatest producers of this century, of our time, and having him on this project was so exciting to me. Plus having Doja Cat's incredible talent, I really thought that this album was going to be something, but then whenever I heard Jealous Type, I just knew it was not going to. This was not going to be my thing. As much as I love the 80s, I hate that we keep harkening back to the sounds from that time. The sounds from that time are legendary. We don't need to recreate them. That's a hill I will die on. There's some standouts on here, but overall, like, I'd say extremely disappointing project from Doja Cat. Every time you think you're getting into a song, you lose interest halfway through. That is the problem with this album. I was like, oh, this one's good. And then I would get bored. Do I think it's a bad album? No. Like, Gorgeous is cute, Amen is cute, Silly Fun, Acts of Service, like a lot of these songs are cute, but they just really don't get up there for me. Couples Therapy is my favorite song though. That song is a gem. That song kind of reminds me of old Beyonce a little bit, and then my least favorite song has to be One More Time. I just don't gravitate towards that one, and it's usually a skip. Number 33, It's Not That Deep by Demi Lovato. This was actually a pretty good effort from Demi, I think. In a shocking turn of events, Demi Lovato once again rebrands. I'm a Holy F*** stan to my core. I love Holy F***. That was actually the album that got me into Demi Lovato. But this isn't about Holy F***. This is about It's Not That Deep. And in my opinion, like, is there anything super unique and special about it other than Demi doing dance pop? Not really, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's like an enjoyable project, and I will, like, you know, I spin it on occasion. My favorite song is Ghost. That's a banger of a track. And then my least favorite song is probably In My Head. I'm gonna blow through these albums like pretty quickly. At least I'm gonna try. I wanna save room to talk about the big ones. Number 32, So Close to What by Tate McRae.
My cold heart is finally melting. I move from the east to the west when I...
Some of y'all are about to be real mad at me for saying this, but So Close to What was just not my favorite album this year, and I have a reaction to it on this channel. I don't really do reaction videos anymore, but I do have reaction to it on this channel. You will see I had some strong opinions about the album. On subsequent listens, I've definitely grown to love it more. I do spin it quite occasionally, especially after the deluxe version came out. And this is something I'm noticing about a lot of albums on this list. Once the deluxe version comes out, it gives the album so much more depth. It has songs that I think are just better. Trying On Shoes specifically from the deluxe version, so beautiful. Also produced by Emil Haney, which if you watched my original reaction to it, had a mental breakdown over Emil Haney producing Purple Lace Bra. My favorite from the standard version is Purple Lace Bra. With So Close to What, we really see Tate step into the pop star role. I felt like in comparison to Think Later, it kind of felt like a split personality where she was like, I'm done doing the sad girl thing. Actually, I'm still doing the sad girl thing. And there's nothing wrong with either of those personas. It was how she was branding herself that was the issue with Think Later for me, because the sound just didn't work. The duality of it was not meshing on that album. And I feel like on this album, she actually really felt her footing in it. Obviously, the latter half of the album with songs like Green Light and Means I Care and Siren Sounds, like those are gonna be my favorites because I love the emotional aspects of it. I just like that she was able to fully step into the pop star role. I've even seen her live this year. What an incredible performer. I loved seeing her live. My least favorite song on this project, if y'all don't know, y'all are about to know. I Know Love. I feel like this clip gets shared with people. I feel like I have put this clip in so many of my videos. I hate that song. I Know Love is the worst song I've heard this year. The other reason this album is not very high is because I don't believe that the sound is super unique. Tate really is, I believe, still struggling with what her sound is, as much as the branding and the performance aspect and the songwriting is there. I don't believe that she has fully mastered the sound yet. I don't like saying that because I do like her. I do like her. But there's nothing about the instrumentals on this album that make it super unique or captivating. And whenever I listen to it, songs do get skipped, but Purple Lace Bra, Sports Car, two of my favorite songs from this year. At number 31, Princess of Power by Marina. Again, I feel like some of y'all are gonna be mad at me that this album is so low. For me personally, as a longtime Marina fan, this isn't my favorite project by her. Not for anything she did specifically, I'm just saying in comparison to her last albums, I feel like this album kind of has an identity crisis. Family Jewels knows exactly what it is. Electra Heart was very cohesive, had a clear storyline, had a clear sound, had a character that you could follow all the way through. I feel like that's kind of the benefit of having a concept album. Fruit had very clear ideas, structures. Love and Fear was a little bit weaker. Everything after Fruit has kind of been iffy. I do love Ancient Dreams in the Modern Land, but Love and Fear was a little bit more difficult for me to wrap my brain around. As much as I love that project and songs on that project, I do believe that it is one of her weaker albums because the branding, the songwriting, the sound was not consistent with what I think Marina was doing, nor do I think it was authentic to her. She's gone through so many rebrands. So Princess of Power is essentially a concept album about the main character being the Princess of Power, who is a hyper-feminine, self-actualized version of Marina. From what I understand, from what she's kind of described to us, I can appreciate that. The struggle comes from I don't really know how to categorize this album. Maybe it is a me issue, but I think from an objective perspective, well, that's fun. I think objectively, this album is a little bit more difficult to pinpoint the branding, the character, the ideas, the image. What is Marina trying to say on this album? Maybe I'm being a little harsh on it. Looking at the track list, the sound is pretty cohesive for the most part, and it is unique from a lot of the albums we've heard this year. The songwriting falters at a couple bits, and I think it is kind of time that as Marina stands, as a fan base, we need to acknowledge that her songwriting is not always what we make it out to be. I do believe that she has been an incredible songwriter. I don't believe that she's always an incredible songwriter. You can look at Fruit and Family Jewels and Electra Heart. Almost every single song on those albums hit as far as the songwriting goes. then you have ones that are iffy. I've always been a little iffy on the lyrics of Hermit the Frog and Numb. Love and Fear, Ancient Dreams, like, I think we can admit that there's some rough moments lyrically, as beautiful as some of them are. I think we can agree on this album. It is the same kind of thing where like some tracks are very beautifully written. I'd say the majority of the tracks on here do kind of suffer lyrically from being very formulaic, repetitive. My least favorite track has to be Je ne sais quoi. Like, I just, yeah. That song is very, very uninteresting to me. But my favorite song, Metallic Stallion. What a beautiful song from her. And that is a song where I feel like she connected with the production so well, and I kind of wish the album leaned more into this very spiritual direction. And we get hints of it on the title track. Okay, that's kind of all I can think of. Metallic Stallion, very, very good track, very solid track. One of my favorite tracks that came out this year, actually. And then with the deluxe version, once again, I feel like gave the album way more meaning. I feel like sometimes y'all just need to release an 18 to 20 track album, because sometimes whenever y'all release 11 to 13 track albums, they don't make sense. Sometimes you need that extra length to fully envision your idea. I feel like Princess of Power Deluxe helped the album a lot more as far as the concept goes. So do I think it's a bad project? Absolutely not. I do love it. I love listening to this project. It's just not a constant thing, and it is one of the objectively weaker projects that I've heard this year. 30, Period by Kesha. This is a beautiful reclamation of Kesha's career, her legacy, her music. I did have a good time with this. Some of them are skips. Some of them are not super fun to listen to. I'm looking at you, the one. But this album knows exactly what it is. Celebratory, it feels joyous, it feels personal, it feels aggressive, it feels flirty. Kesha's doing what she does best on this album. Is it my favorite Kesha album? Honestly, probably. It's really incredible, but there's not a Kesha album I don't love. I also don't think that there's a Kesha album that I can think of that is like my number one, because Cannibal and Animal obviously are incredible. Rainbow was such a beautiful project. Period. It's amazing. It's pretty incredible as far as Kesha projects go. I will say lower on my list just because some of the tracks do suffer. I can never have nice things. Anyway, we're gonna film on my iPhone camera for a minute. I hate doing this, but every single video at a certain point, it's iPhone camera o'clock. Number 29, Bite Me by Renee Rapp. I don't think this project is bad by any means. I actually really enjoy Bite Me. Leave me alone, bitch. I wanna have fun. I was surprised to learn that I Think I Like You Better When You're Gone is trending, and actually one of the most popular songs from this album, because that was one of my favorites whenever I first listened to this album. And I was like, that's one that people aren't gonna appreciate though. Like, that's gonna be my song. And then it ended up kind of blowing up. I also loved I Can't Have You Around Me Anymore. That's so funny. Truly, if I think about it, Bite Me doesn't have any songs that I don't like. Just some that I don't really care for. And so like that's kind of why it's put in the mediocre categories, because it's a little bit middle of the road as far as some of the songs go. But there are some like great standout tracks on it. Kiss It Kiss It is my favorite, and Good Girl is my least favorite. Very solid album put forth by Renee. I do think I like Snow Angel better, but this album has its days where I do love it more than Snow Angel. You know, kind of having two albums that are kind of toss up as far as which one is my favorite in your discography is a pretty good sign for a good album. 28, Midnight Sun by Zara Larsson. So Zara opened up for Tate whenever I saw her, and what an incredible performer. It was also before she released Midnight Sun, and that's crazy to me because this is an album that I would want to be performing every single day of my life. I think what really sparkles here is Zara's vocal ability, because it's a short album. You don't really get too much of a story or anything from 10 tracks. Songs like Midnight Sun, Crush, Hot and Sexy, Puss Puss, Saturn's Return, you get to hear incredible vocals from Zara. She really likes to pop off on a chorus. You've got your Barbie doll aesthetic with songs like Pretty Ugly and Hot and Sexy and Euro Summer, but then you've also got like, you know, a little bit more vulnerability on songs like Girl's Girl and Saturn's Return and The Ambition. Overall, I'd say this is a very fun album. The sound isn't totally my thing because it is very bubblegum and very like, not that dance pop's not my thing, but it's dance pop in a genre that I'm not necessarily like, I don't really ever incline towards. She is Scandinavian, so I think that has part of it. That's so not true. I love Scandinavian pop music. Max Martin's like my favorite producer of all time. Besides Jack Antonoff, we'll get there. We've already kind of gotten. And I do think that opening for Tate helped her kind of pop off with this album this year. It is an incredible album. I do think that people should hear it. It's kind of just a sound of pop music that I don't really gravitate towards, but I love it. And Eurosummer, my favorite song. My favorite songs on Period by Kesha were Joyride, and my least favorite was Glow. I don't feel like I mentioned that. Anyway, my favorite on Midnight Sun is Eurosummer, and my least favorite has to be Girls Girl. Again, nothing really against this album. It's just not a sound of pop music that I necessarily gravitate towards, but I do think she's immensely talented. Number 27, Smoochies by Ashniko.
I whip my shit like a go-kart. She wants my cryogenic cold heart.
I'm a very big Ashniko fan. I love Ashniko. Weed Killer was a good effort by her, but I didn't feel that it was the most authentic Ashniko. It's not why I fell in love with her. I loved Ashniko for her quirkiness, for her songwriting abilities. Amazing as Weed Killer was as an album and as a concept, it lacked the Ashniko that made her special and unique. It's still a very unique project. It's something that I think only Ashniko could make, but even to hearing her describe how unhappy she was while making it, it's like you can feel that in the music. Isn't chai supposed to be caffeinated? Why am I struggling? My favorite song on Smoochies is Chechnya, and my least favorite is Skin Cleared. I think Smoochies is a pretty strong piece of work. It had the uniqueness, it had the quirkiness, it had all the things that I love about Ashniko. She did get a little bit vulnerable on this album, and I love that. Like, I love that she was still able to access some of her inner self and not so much through this character. And I also love Itty Bitty. I've performed Itty Bitty so many times. This is an album that really only Ashniko could make and make it sound great. So, you know, it is in the mediocre category, but at this point, we're kind of getting into albums that I do think are great. It's just that we would have like, I don't know, we would have almost 20 albums in the great category, and I was like, let's just split it down the middle. So yeah, in my heart, Smoochies is a great album. It's just in the mediocre category. And that's how I'm gonna feel about the rest of the albums going forward. The Bakery by Cupcake is at number 25.
I be rolling with some niggas that be rolling with some bitches. I be rolling with some bitches that be rolling with some niggas. So I guess we fucking rolling, then you know we coming vicious. Reincarnated as a bitch and I be shitting on these bitches. Yeah.
Let me tell you something about Miss Cupcake. Y'all don't get her like I do. I feel an emotional connection to Cupcake. Sometimes, like, I find the comments very funny about Flop Tropica and tears are running down your thighs, and that's a beautiful thing. I believe in Cupcake as a technical rapper so much that sometimes when y'all make too much fun and get a little too silly with her art, I'm like, shut the f up and listen. She is rapping her ass off right now. Cupcake is so talented, and if you don't believe me, listen to UFO. Listen to Ballerina Coup. Listen to the Silverback Wife. There are songs like Aquila on here, where it literally sounds like a 2000s R&B track. Like, girl, Rubik's Cube has such a strong message about who she is internally, her emotional framework as a human being. It's also political, and it's so strange to listen to that in comparison to Fist Me, which comes right before it. And I think that's the beauty of Cupcake's music, is she is a very diverse rapper. And this is probably my favorite project from her to date. In the past, I've had an issue with her beats sounding a little bit generic, where you couldn't really point at a song and be like, this is a Cupcake song, if the lyrics weren't there. This one actually does have a very distinct sound to it, even with its diversity, because Alcoholic sounds nothing like Snowman, and Aquila and Mona Lisa. Like, these songs all sound completely different to each other. My favorite song, like, in my heart from this project is Alcoholic, because I'm such a 2000s fan. I'm a 2000s girly to my core. I love the 2000s so much. I don't love the homophobia and the fat shaming and 9/11 or whatever. I kind of like 9/11. Okay, somebody's gonna clip me saying I like 9/11 and make it a thing. I just mean like where would my humor be today without 9/11? No, because I was being so dead ass too whenever I said I like 9/11. I wasn't alive. I wasn't alive for 9/11. Sorry to anybody who was. That must suck. We got My Chemical Romance, and that somehow led to Sabrina Carpenter, I think, or something. I don't know. Twilight. I could talk about The Bakery by Cupcake forever, but I'm starting to talk about Sabrina Carpenter, so I think that's a sign that I need to move on. My favorite song is UFO, just because it's slightly better than Alcoholic. Also, the music video is amazing. That statue just starts throwing it back out of nowhere. And like, UFO is so catchy. Like, listen to the chorus and tell me it does not go crazy. And the only lyrics being, his got abducted by a UFO. I never saw suck before. Poetry. Shakespeare. But like, when I say it's okay, because I genuinely think she's incredible as a lyricist and as a rapper. My least favorite song is Sloppy Joe, but I do think that everyone needs to listen to it because it has very important lessons. Because men, get familiar with your butthole right now. I'm being so dead. Actually, I'm gonna get mad. I need you to touch your butthole. Sloppy Joe is so important because it emphasizes how much you need to touch your butthole. That's all I'll say. Number 24, Last Night You Said You Missed Me by Hazlitt. Wouldn't you love me? I love Hazlitt. This is a difficult album for me, I will admit. I don't know where it ranks as far as Hazlitt's discography goes for me, because like I'm so iffy on it. I also listened to it like far after it came out, and I felt really bad for it because if I had listened to it when it came out, I probably would have been more into it, but because I'm in the winter, just having to like kind of bear with this more somber autumn coated album. I don't know, y'all. I don't know about this one. I think it's beautiful, and I actually wrote down that I don't have a least favorite track. I don't have one. I think that every track from this is beautiful. This is also the only album on that list, besides the 5 albums in Perfection, that I did that for. My favorite track is Fast Like You. This album, conceptually, I don't really know if I can explain it. There's only 10 tracks on it, so again, you don't really get to get too deep into it as opposed to his last couple albums, which I believe had 12 or more. And Blue Mountain, what an incredible piece of music. Goodbye to the Valley Low, also beautiful, also an incredible piece of music. But yeah, Last Night You Said You Missed Me, I think it's great, but then I think it like falters at some point, so I don't know how to describe it. It's just, yeah. This is a difficult album for me, and I'm still deciding how I feel about it. 23, I Said I Loved You First by Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco. I listened to this album so much, apparently, that Benny Blanco is on my Spotify Wrapped. That's a little crazy to me. Not like in like the top 5. He was like in, whenever I was like scrolling through like the messages. By the way, I'm not using Spotify anymore. All that. But I did, you know, use it enough to get my Wrapped. Anyways, whenever I was scrolling through the artist messages, Benny Blanco's face popped up. Jump scare. I was like, I don't remember talking to you. When were you in my house? But no, it's probably from this album. Only because of this album. I couldn't tell you a single other song that I listened to of his. I think this album is a bit overhated. Like, y'all kind of dragged this album through the mud, and I fully believe it's because Benny Blanco's featured on it. Y'all can't be shallow and say that he's ugly and then say that he doesn't make good art, because actually he has made incredible music for so many artists that y'all don't even realize. Like, he's a song, like, I don't know. Y'all weird me out sometimes with the shit y'all be saying about people, but as if someone's talent and worth only come from their sex appeal, it's so strange to me. Being like, Selena's dating down. Girl, Selena's dating for someone who, like, treats her right. Anyway, I think this album is overhated. I do think it's really great. I think that actually the songwriting is really well done in this album, and not so much songwriting as in like poetry and metaphors and whatever. I believe like good songwriting can also be catchy or captivating songwriting. Like Younger and Hotter Than Me tells such a clear story, and it's beautiful. And then the chorus where she's like, we're not getting any younger, but your girlfriends seem to, like, what a beautiful chorus. Blue is Flame, written with Charlie XCX, also an incredible song. I'd say where this album falters is that it can feel a bit repetitive. And it's not for lack of collaborators. They have a lot of collaborators on this album. I think it's just that they went for a very specific sound, and as beautiful as that sound is, there's only so far you can go with it. Airy, bedroom pop sound. My favorite song is Cowboy, and my least favorite song is I Can't Get Enough. Like, I get why there's a song from 6 years ago on here. Get it off this album. I don't want to hear a song from 6 years ago. It doesn't fit with the sound at all. It comes in between You Said You Were Sorry and Don't Take It Personally. If you take I Can't Get Enough out, those tracks flow so beautifully into each other. So I don't understand I Can't Get Enough being on this album at all. But yeah, Cowboy, also beautiful. Again, that song is stressing me out because I performed it at a show, and it's reminding me that I need to prepare for the next show. Last album in the mediocre category, number 22, Moisturizer by Wet Leg.
You think I'm pretty, you think I'm pretty cool.
I was looking at some reviews for this album. Tell me why y'all are saying this is horny as fuck. It doesn't feel that horny until like a couple songs towards the end. Like Pillow Talk, that's a horny song. Jennifer's Body, Mange 2, like, those are horny songs, but the rest of it is so like lovey and like, I don't know, it feels like euphorically in love. Is there a single sad song in this project? I can't think of one. The sound is decent for this album. Like as far as Wet Leg goes, this is my first full Wet Leg project, so I can't compare it to their past works. I've loved what I've heard from them in the past, and this is my first time fully diving in because other songs of theirs have had me interested. Mange 2 is a very exceptional piece of work. Pokemon is probably my favorite song. Pillow Talk is super fun. It feels just like a lot of fun, occasionally very aggressive, maybe horny. Y'all are a bunch of virgins. Y'all are like saying like, oh my god, like they Wet Leg is horny. I bet your legs are wet. And it's like, calm down. All I see is a person in love who maybe on like 2 or 3 tracks on this album really needs sex. Maybe being gay has like completely f***ed up my perception of like what love is. To me though, I'm like, is this not just how being in love feels? 'Cause I've been horny. Believe me, I have been horny. And whenever I listen to this album, I'm not going in being like, oh my God, I am horned up. I'd say that my like resting emotion is like pretty bored. So when I'm horny, I'm horny. Actually, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Also, Mom, Nona, if you're watching, y'all need to go. Like, I'm being so serious. I'm talking about how horny I am on the internet, and I'm really not that horny. I feel like my resting horniness level is at like at a 5% out of 100. I think we get to a 100 never on this album. At best, we get to like a 90. I'd say Pillow Talk is like a 90%. Yeah, Pokemon, my favorite song. Least favorite song, maybe Jennifer's Body, but like that's, I don't know. That's being a little harsh because I don't, I like Jennifer's Body. I don't think it's a bad song. And it is like an enjoyable project to listen to start to finish. It's a great piece of indie music. We're now moving on to the great category. Number 21 on great, Sunchild Deluxe by Jace Cameron. Well, remember those rules I was talking about earlier? One of the rules is that we don't do deluxe albums if the standard album came out a prior year. But this is a new artist for me, and this is an album that I hadn't heard. No, on a technicality, I can't rank this. Okay, know that I listened to this album, Sunchild Deluxe by Jace Cameron. I recommend it to everyone. Very beautiful piece of summer pop, but I'm not actually going to rank it, so just scratch that completely and move every single number that I'd said in the past, move that up. Number 20, Submarine by the Marinas. Did this? Submarine by the Marinas came out in 2024. Okay, scratch that album as well. First album in the great category, The Clearing by Wolf Alice. Girl.
The best part is the deep on the hangover.
Okay, now that we've removed 2 albums from this category, we can get into The Clearing. The Clearing by Wolf Alice. Let's talk about it. This feels like arena ready rock. It's not even like rock to me. It's like pop and alternative and rock, but like the vocals, the songwriting, oh my God. Like The Clearing really did that for me. Like track by track, I never really got tired of listening to it, which is why it's, above the mediocre category. But the moment I noticed, oh, this album is gonna be different for me. Leaning Against the Wall, track 4, which is my favorite song on the project. That was when like I had to like take a step back and be like, oh, I'm in it now. One of my biggest things when I'm listening to an album is, what is the track listing like? Does it make sense? Do the tracks flow into each other? This is an album where I do believe every single track makes sense in the order that they're placed. You get great dynamics of energy on this album. You get great diversity in sound without it sounding out of place with the others. I think this is an incredible project. This is a must-hear album for everyone. Like, again, it blends pop and alternative and rock so well. So very, very proud of Wolf Alice on this project. I think in the past they've kind of struggled to fully step into their potential as a band. Are they a band? Wait, no. They're a band, yeah, and they're British. I mean, British rock bands, like they've really got it going. At number 18, we have, this album moved down quite a bit. No shade to this album. I believe this album was originally at 14 or 15 for me. It is now at number 18. No disrespect, just know we've had a lot of great projects come out this year. Man's Best Friend by Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh my God, I get wet at the thought of you.
This is another album where y'all are like, oh my God, it's all about sex. It's so horny. What are y'all talking about? Did we listen to the same album? People going, yeah, it's just no short and sweet. Thank God it's no short and sweet. Oh my God, why am I getting mad? Like, here's the thing. Short and Sweet is my least favorite Sabrina Carpenter album. I believe I talked about this last year, where Emails I Can't Send was just such a peak era for her. And Singular Act 1 and 2, oh my God, I miss those eras. I miss that Sabrina all the time, but I can't complain about it now. Renounced those albums and that Sabrina since then. The best we have now is the current Sabrina. Of the current Sabrina, Emails I Can't Send is my favorite. Short and Sweet is my least favorite. I believe that Short and Sweet, it lived up to its title. It didn't feel like an album that, and it probably does have longevity just for the fact of it's like her stepping into the mainstream. And because Espresso is on it, like I don't think Short and Sweet is a bad album, but I do think it's a weak album. I don't know. I'm not here to talk about Short and Sweet. I talked about Short and Sweet last year. We're talking about Man's Best Friend. Here's where Man's Best Friend excels. This is the songwriting that I've been craving from Sabrina. It's still no Emails I Can't Send. I'm gonna have to let go of that in my head. This one, I feel like we truly do get vulnerable. While Short and Sweet felt like, I love sex. Me and my man have a lot of sex. My man better not fuck up, but we do be having sex. This album is really funny to me because it's like, I'm not having sex right now. It's very hard for me actually to have sex right now. You get songs like Man Child, My Man on Willpower, Sugar Talking, Nobody's Son, Never Getting Laid, Don't Worry, I'll Make You Worry. These songs are literally about her being like, something is wrong here. I'm not having sex. Something's going on. I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. My relationships are up. And that's kind of where Controversy, the album cover, comes in. Y'all were so hell-bent on being feminists that y'all circled back around to being misogynistic. To me, it is clear that the album cover is satire. I understand that I do not have the perspective growing up a woman being mistreated by older men. I believe that this album cover was triggering for a lot of people. I believe that what happened was this was a knee-jerk reaction, and that is perfectly valid. I totally see where you're coming from with that. However, listening to the album, it is so obvious to me that the album cover is supposed to be a joke. It's supposed to be satire. She's like, I got myself here. I've let myself be dog walked in relationships. It is not Sabrina saying I take a subservient role to a man in my life. That is not what she's saying on this album. And I feel like that's so clear on songs like Man Child and Tears and My Man on Willpower and Sugar Talking. I feel like Never Getting Laid is a little bit of the thesis of this album, as well as Don't Worry, I'll Make You Worry. Both songs that I believe are pretty underrated, but very important to this album. It's just so consistent. Short and Sweet was not consistent. It flip-flopped what it wanted to be so many times. My least favorite part of Man's Best Friend is the country elements. If you've been on this channel long enough, you know I'm sick and tired of the pop girlies going country. Beyonce, I love you. I loved Cowboy Carter. Let's end it there. Once Lana Del Rey comes out with that country album, it's going to piss me off. I guarantee you it's going to piss me off. Unless it's very Lana and I can't even like, you know how like mothers will chop up zucchini really tiny and put it in your pancakes to get your vegetables in, but you don't even know that the zucchini's in there? That's how I want Lana's country album to be. Put the country in there, but don't let me know about it. At this point too, haven't we been waiting like 16 and a half years for this new Alana album? I don't care that Jack Antonoff said that y'all were cooking. I don't want to hear it. I'm sorry. It's just been bothering me that I haven't brushed my hair today. Oh, okay, maybe not. I don't like that my hair just got so flat. No. Where did all the texture in my hair go? Everybody ignore the way my hair looks for the rest of the video. Well, now it's overstimulating because I feel half my hair. Okay, we f***ed up a little bit. Like Go-Go Juice, as fun as it is and as good of a time as it is, every now and then I go, I'm like, ooh, I'm listening to country music. And it's not like it's even that country. I do listen to actual country music too sometimes, occasionally, very like rarely. So yeah, she really shines on here with the more, I'm such a hypocrite because I criticized Doja Cat for using the 80s inspired elements, but then praised Sabrina for it. And Jack Antonoff worked on both of these albums, so interesting to me. I'm not totally sure. Once I figure out why I like one more than the other, I'll let you know, because I'm not bored listening to House Tour. I'm very entertained and I love House Tour. I think it's very catchy and captivating compared to V, where I was just very bored. I don't know what the difference is. I just enjoyed the 80s inspired elements on this song so much more, but I really loved the 2000s inspired elements in songs like Never Getting Laid, When Did You Get Hot? Obviously, When Did You Get Hot is my favorite song of this project. So good. My least favorite song, probably Goodbye. I think y'all are being a little harsh on this album on both ends. I think that there's a lot of misogyny rooted in why people don't like this album. I also believe that there is a lot of trauma concerning the album cover and stuff like that. A lot of you are not pop music enjoyers, and that is clear from the way you feel about this album. And so, in that case, this album just isn't for you. But I do think that everyone is being a little harsh on this. Like, this is objectively, in my opinion, I can't say those. That's contradictory. In my opinion, this is the stronger album. This is better than Short and Sweet. Okay, pushing my hair back actually kind of made all the difference, right? I'm so glad that my hair is getting long again. Do y'all miss whenever I had long hair and I was 16 years old making music? What an era to be me. All right, number 17, Who's the Clown by Audrey Hobart.
To me, I wanna be on. To me, I wanna be, yeah.
This is certainly not anywhere close to being the top album of the year, but this is my top album of the year. I streamed this album so many times. I won't even pretend that it's that great. It's just so good. In my opinion, I'm obsessed with this album. And I'm not like over exaggerating whenever I say obsessed. This was one of my top albums on my Spotify Wrapped. All of my friends like are kind of like, you kind of put me onto something. Like people on Airbuds are like, okay, why does, like, who is this? I can't stress enough how much I love this album. I had to put it this low because I think objectively this is where it belongs. But in my heart, this is album of the year. This is album of the year. It's so relatable. This album is the soundtrack to your early 20s when you don't have a clue what you're doing, what's going on, why things are the way they are. It's awkward, it's honest, it's weird, it's vulnerable. It's unique in its songwriting, even if the production itself is not very unique. I'm just very proud to call myself a fan of this album because like we have so many great moments. If you listen to it all the way through as a pop music, indie music fan, like there's gonna be stuff that you like. I've always felt myself to be very awkward, and just every social situation I've ever been put in, I have felt like I was on the outside of Earth and was just suddenly shot down into whatever situation I'm currently in and having to just like improv and figure out what I'm doing on the fly. I have this recurring dream where I'm shoved on stage and I've never read the script to the play. I am suddenly cast as the lead role and there's a sold out audience waiting for me to perform and I don't know what I'm performing. So I have to improv and it's terrifying. This album makes me feel so validated and comforted in that feeling because that's a recurring dream for me and it literally like I will wake up in a cold sweat. Audrey feels like she turned that dream into a soundtrack, being like, yeah, we all kind of feel that way, don't we? Like being in your 20s is weird and awkward and difficult and nobody knows what they're doing. This is exemplified on songs like Wet Hair, where she's like, I used to stress all the time about like how I look, what's too early to show up, who should I invite? Should I invite anyone? And now I show up to the bar with wet hair. It's such a simple sentiment, but it's like, I used to overthink about something like that. And now I'm just doing it. Or Thirst Trap. God, I had a moment with Thirst Trap like a month ago. That's another thing about this album is every single month, even like every 2 weeks, my favorite track changes. That's how good this album is. I'm always relating to something new because like originally my favorite was Bowling Alley. She's like, am I too cool to go to this party? Yeah. But everyone wants me to go. Everyone's expecting me to go. And it's not like anyone's gonna care if I go or not. Should I have fun or should I keep up the appearances? Like, you know, like that sort of like internal monologue of like getting invited somewhere and being like, oh, I don't know if I should go. Like Bowling Alley is great for that. But recently, Thirst Trap, if you don't know, this is the latest, well no, Sex and the City is the latest single, but Thirst Trap was a single from this album. And it's literally about taking thirst traps, being like, I'm looking at my phone, like, what does she say in the bridge? I'm looking at my phone and pretending I'm you. I'm listening to my posts and pretending I'm you. I'm sick and twisted and boring. Let me adore you. Like, all the songs are also really catchy because I don't know what the she's saying, but I love singing along to that part. Looking at my phone and pretending I'm you. Looking at my posts and pretending I'm you. I'm sick and twisted and boring. Like, she's just talking about like, I'm taking thirst traps in my room. I used to be cool. And you have me looking not cool. And she's real for that. Oh my God, I used to feel so cool. I used to feel like my social media was like very curated and very exclusive and whatever. And then recently I was like, what the am I doing online? My YouTube used to be like my way of getting all the weird out. And now it's just spread. Like now the weird has like contaminated my Instagram, my Tumblr. Like it's everywhere now. And there's like really no taking it back. I'm not afraid of employers seeing my digital footprint. I'm afraid of future partners seeing my digital footprint. I recognize that my red flag is my digital footprint. But at the same time, if a future partner is interested in me, they have to accept all of me. And if they see my post and they don't like it, I know that that's not the person for me. If they look at my reels, my deranged ass reels, my weird ass YouTube shorts, my filtered YouTube videos and Patreon videos, and they're like, you know what? This bitch is kind of funny. That's the one for me. You have to accept every part of me. I'm so sorry. Like, you have to look at it and be like, you know what? That's the love of my life. If you look at my shit and you're like, that's the love of my life, I will marry you. Guys, if y'all know a man like that, send him my way. I still lived here for almost 4 months now. Still no leads. Still no leads on a boyfriend. I'm waiting. I want to fall in love. I talk about this every video. I'm sick of people wanting me for my body. I want to fall in love. But then I'm listening to Audrey Hobart sing about like how she's taking thirst traps. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking thirst traps at this point. Like, I just need anything, anybody. I don't care if I'm not cool anymore. Great album from Audrey. My favorite song overall is Chateau. I think that the sound on Chateau is beautiful. It's very early 2000s. It kind of reminds me of like little, I don't know, there's something Max Martin / like the Neptunes about Chateau. I really liked it. It's also got a little bit of like grungy energy. I liked it. I like Chateau a lot. My least favorite song, probably Silver Jubilee, but again, there's not a song on this that I don't like. So take that with a grain of salt. Number 16, Tsunami Sea. By Spiritbox. This is pretty much a perfect album in my mind. It's 11 songs and 43 minutes, so they are longer songs, but they're all really incredibly written, really incredibly produced. I don't really have too much to say about this other than Courtney LaPlante is one of the most talented individuals in metal music right now. They've never won a Grammy. Obviously, I know that they've been nominated a couple times. Apparently, Poppy is the frontman of Spiritbox. Girl, how? We can't get into all that. Tsunami Sea is an incredible album. Like one of my favorite albums that I've heard this year. This album like just kept moving up in my ranking every single time I would listen to it. And it's not just Courtney, like the whole band really pulls it together and is like very, very talented. They all have great chemistry. It's like, yeah, I'm like, I just love this project. My favorite song is Perfect Soul. I don't even know if that's true though, because like every song is so good. This is another instance where like my favorite on the album is constantly changing. My least favorite is Crystal Roses. Again, take that with a grain of salt. It doesn't really, like, that's not an objective truth. The Burnout by Tenariel is at number 15.
There's more hiding away. It still hasn't fallen away.
So this only came out like a week, 2 weeks ago at the time of filming this video. I did love it, and I'm not totally sure if it counts as an EP or an album, but my rule for these videos is if it has over 7 songs, it's an album unless the artist calls it an EP. I was really uninterested whenever it first happened because Electric Honey was not my favorite project of Tenariel's, and usually whenever she releases an album, like, I just believe that whenever Tenariel's released singles, it's been better than full albums. Burnout was incredible. This is her best album in my opinion. There was only one single released, I believe, which was Feels Like Love and was one of my favorite songs that came out this year. A lot of these feel like poetry, especially the final track, which actually the final track is probably my least favorite on the project. It's still very much Tenariel, like very focused in. And to believe that she was going through burnout whenever she wrote this is so impressive to me because this is honestly her most inspired, unique, fully formed, self-actualized version of Tenariel. Yeah, from start to finish, this is magical, it's intense, it's emotional, it's sexy, there's a sense of yearning to it. It's very beautiful. I very much love this project. I'm shocked that she was feeling the way that she was whenever she wrote it. You can't tell. You can't tell. The title led me to believe this was going to be a very depressing album, and it was not. It was very artistically done. It's not energetic, but it's energizing. Great album from Tenariel. I hope she doesn't call it an EP because this is an incredible album. My favorite song is Diamonds. Again, I've only been sitting with this album for like 2 weeks, so take that as you will. December 12th, it's been not even a full week, but I do love it. My favorite song is not fully decided yet, but my least favorite song probably is Serenity. Number 14, The BPM by Sedan Archives. This is my first project by this artist. I don't know why y'all didn't put me onto this artist sooner. The BPM is incredible. What an incredible album. Sedan Archives has such a unique perspective on their music. She does a great job of blending genres. So like, I think this was described to me as hip hop, but it feels not so much hip hop and more like electronic. And at the same time R&B, and then there's something retro but also something futuristic. This is one of my favorites, and it's almost a perfect album for me. It gets a little weak towards the latter half. There's a couple songs where I'm like, the only reason it's ranked lower because in my mind this is kind of a perfect album. David and Goliath. Can we listen to that? Can we listen to David and Goliath real quick? I like a who's not afraid to be weird and unique. It's what makes someone special as an artist. I believe that essentially an artist is someone who's not afraid to be unique like this. Miss Pac-Man, I'm looking at you whenever I say this album falters at some points. Believe it or not, Miss Pac-Man is a single. I was very shocked to learn this information because I do not like Miss Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man doesn't work for me. I'm so sorry, Miss Pac-Man. Also, if her name is Miss Pac-Man, wouldn't she be Mr. Pac-Man's sister? Because if they were married, that would be Mrs. Pac-Man. Or maybe his mother? Either way, I don't feel comfortable seeing them kissing on each other. Nope, just Googled it. It is Miss Pac-Man. Okay, apparently it was originally Mrs. Pac-Man, but they changed it to Miss Pac-Man. Girl, let me tell you something. You changed something that didn't need to be changed, and now it's giving incest. But anyway, David and Goliath, such a beautiful track. I could listen to that all day, every day, non-stop, on repeat. I could also listen to this album. Like, the thing is, you can't put this under a genre. It is R&B. it is electronic, it is hip hop, it's pop, it's noise, it's like, it's everything. It's so interesting. What Sedan Archives did with this album is so incredible, and I think this is a must hear for 2025. 13, Choke Enough by OK Lou.
Take me by the hand.
I believe it's pronounced OK Lou. This is also my first project by this artist. I don't want to talk too much about it because like we really do need to move on. Almost in the top 10. It's a very good album. Again, I love a bitch who's weird. I love a bitch who's not doing what everyone else is doing, and OK Lou is certainly not doing what everyone else is doing. Favorite track is Harvest Sky. It's like the one song that isn't afraid of the snare drum. Maybe it is actually, now think about it. Harvest Sky. Hold on, I'm starting to play music and I'm gonna have to like keep it exclusive to the Patreon, but this song just builds until you get to the final climax. Sometimes it doesn't even feel like you climax, which kind of makes for a more enjoyable listening experience because like as an album, you reach several flows, but it takes so long to get to the point of most excitement in the album. Like that sounds like a bad thing to say, but it's such praise because like I've said this before in past videos, I feel like the art of album listening is kind of dead. And so I love albums where it truly like, you do have to listen to the full thing to get the full experience. Otherwise you're not understanding. If you listened to any of these songs by themselves, you'd be like, that was weird. With Choke Enough, you literally have to listen to the album. I don't feel like there's a single off this album. That's how like, I feel like the entire album is the listening experience. It's mostly anti-drops for a lot of this album, and I think that's incredible. It feels like edging. This whole album is kind of edging. So actually I talked more about that album than I thought I was going to, and I have to keep most of it for Patreon because I was, you know, there's music. Whatever. Number 12, Eusexua Afterglow by FKA Twigs. Now, keep in mind, this is not Eusexua's standard. We will get to her. Believe me, I have great things to say about that album. Things that may even transcend the great category. Eusexua Afterglow is the weaker of the two projects. And actually, I'm not even counting Deluxua like as part of this at all. Because Deluxua, I was like, why? How are you gonna come out with a deluxe album that is the same number of tracks as the original album, but now we're missing tracks from the original album? That pisses me off. I love the original album. Why would you? Anyway, we're talking about Afterglow. Afterglow is the weaker of two projects for me. Still great. Still an incredible album, start to finish. Hard is probably my favorite song, and Love Crimes is my least favorite, but it's not like, you know, I still listen to Love Crimes, so take that for what it is. Well, my favorite song on Choke Enough is Harvest Sky, and my least favorite is probably Thank You for Recording. But yeah, in Afterglow, she really leaned into the club thing, and I feel like Eusexua was a little bit more maybe emotional or like visceral, it felt like. And Afterglow, you know, it kind of lives up to its name where it's like, this is the high. This is the high of Eusexua. And then Eusexua Standard was more of like the feeling of it. I don't know how to describe it. As concepts, they make sense. I don't feel like Afterglow as an album needs Eusexua to make it make sense. In fact, I feel like Afterglow could have been the next album and I would have been satisfied and love it. Not as much as I love Eusexua, of course, but just like as its own album, it is good. In the context of being part of Eusexua, I think that Eusexua is the stronger project. We didn't necessarily need Afterglow added to it, but I still love Afterglow and I think it's incredible. I think it is full of like the club bangers that Eusexua didn't have, doesn't need. Sushi's a great track, Slushy's a great track, but yeah, Hard is my favorite song off of Afterglow. At number 11, That's Showbiz Baby by Jade.
I will always love you and hate you, it's not fair.
Some of you are gonna be mad that I put this low. You would be even more horrified to know where I originally put it, and I'm not gonna reveal that information because I am going to get dragged in the comments for where I originally put it. Like her and Doja Cat were familiar. So everyone be very grateful that she's at 11 right now because that's actually really generous, and every single time I listen to her, she moves up. Y'all know the hallmark of a great album in my book is whenever I originally hate it, because I originally hated Norman Rockwell. I originally didn't like Pure Heroin by Lorde. I didn't like Found Heaven by Coney Gray. All albums that are literally my favorite albums to this day, right now. That Showbiz Baby is a very well constructed pop album. I don't have much to say about it, but tell me why I heard most of the singles like 2 years ago. I can't really tell you why I hated this at first. I was just very fatigued listening to it. You know what? I kind of felt that way about Mayhem by Lady Gaga. Y'all can watch my reaction to Mayhem by Lady Gaga because I did love the album, but I did notice like when I was listening to it, I was like, when every song hits so hard all the time, it can get fatiguing to listen to that many tracks, especially when you don't slow down till the very end. So it's hard to kind of get into these like longer, heavy-hitting pop albums because when every song, and especially with Jade, because every song is not just hard-hitting, but switches up so much. It can be difficult. It can be a struggle to kind of, understand this type of pop music. Ultimately, it's an extremely strong project, and it's very impressive to listen to. This is not an easy feat to create an album with this many bangers back to back to back to back. My least favorite song is probably Headache, and my favorite, maybe Angel of My Dreams. But there's so many great tracks on this, it's very hard to decide. So you know what, Angel of My Dreams is like my temporary placeholder favorite track. And like, I was sat for this album. I was so excited to listen to this album. It took me 3 months. It did take me 3 months to get into this album. And whenever I first heard it, I was like, I didn't want this. I was like, why did y'all lie to me and telling me this is AOTY? It's not good. But I do love it. I do love this album now. It took a second to really grow on me, but it's really grown on me. Very strong album from Jade. I'm like losing my voice. I yap too much. We're entering the top 10. Top 10. Number 10, Sincerely by Kali Uchis. You guys, I could scream thinking about this album. What is there to say? First of all, not enough music videos. I need visuals for every song. I need this to be a visual album. I don't care that there's 14 songs. Make 14 music videos. From the very first second of the very first song, I knew I was in for the ride of my life. You really popped off with this album. Incredible work. I never want to hear any other album ever again. This is so beautiful. It's hard for me to go through an album and be like, I don't have a least favorite song. These are all beautiful. Like, genuinely, it's hard for me to be like, I can't pick a favorite. I can't pick a least favorite. Every song is that tier, like top tier quality. I did, however, pick a favorite and least favorite. My least favorite, maybe Angels All Around Me, just because like religious type, I don't know, I'm very particular about like religious type lyrics. Trauma. Angels All Around Me just doesn't connect with me super deep, but the instrumental is so beautiful. Her vocals are so beautiful. It's just the lyrics that kind of turn me off of it a little bit. My favorite is Sugar Honey Love, but that's not even definitive. Definitive, but Heaven is a Home. Obviously, like once I heard that song, I was like, oh, I'm sad. I'm fully sad. Silk Lingerie reminds me of Lana Del Rey so much, and I'm such a Lana Del Rey person. How did you fall for someone complicated and flawed as me? The way she sings that reminds me of you're screwed up and brilliant, look like $1 million man. So why is my heart broke? Like, it just reminds me of Lana Del Rey, especially the imagery of silk lingerie and like, I'm flawed, but he's flawed, but he is so perfect in my eyes. How could he have fallen in love with me? It is very Lana Del Rey to me, and it's also very me. I understand that I'm desirable, but I got up going on in my head. Why are you in love with me? I get it. I like it. I really love Silk Lingerie. That's another favorite of mine. It's competition with Sugar Honey Love. Territorial. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily like a jealous person, but if my man, I just pissed myself off because I've never had. Anyway, I just when is it gonna happen to me? When am I gonna fall in love? Everyone thinks they're just so too cool to fall in love with me. Whatever. I need men to like not just touch their butthole, but to like get in touch with their emotions. And like once you realize that I'm the love of your life, and I'm talking to every man out there, once you realize that I'm the love of your life, I promise you, like, it will not just bring you so much peace, but also so much pain and like fear and doubt and uncertainty. And I'm willing to accept that you're going to feel that pain. Fall Apart is also beautiful. Oh, Daggers. Oh, Daggers is so beautiful. And then I Love You So Much It Hurts. Why did I hear that song like last year? Yeah, incredible work, Coochie. We love you. Keep it up. Number 9, Private Music by Deftones. This is the best they've sounded in a hot minute. I'm a huge Deftones fan. Y'all know this. Last album of theirs that I like really, really loved was Koi no Yakan. I'm not saying that they've ever, like, I don't think they've ever really made a bad album. I enjoy all of their albums at different points. My favorite album of theirs could be Private Music, but I'd be more inclined to say Saturday Night Wrist. Like, I love Saturday Night Wrist. I love Koi no Yakan. I love Diamond Eyes. Around the Fur is great. It's not my favorite Deftones album. I know it is for a lot of y'all. It's not for me. I just said it's not for me, but not in the sense of like, that album's not for me. Like, that album is for me. I love that album. It's not my favorite Deftones album like it is for some of y'all. Anyway, Private Music is absolutely incredible. Always had this issue with Deftones where the snare drum that they play, I don't know why this bothers me. It's been this way for like 30 years. Why is it not present in the mix? Why is it so like sibilant? Can't y'all layer something under that snare drum and give it some I want that snare drum to hurt me. Why isn't it hurting me? The snare drum is like a little like clink, like a little, but it needs to be like instead of or like, I understand that it's a real snare drum that you're playing. Stop. Well, keep it, but then layer it with a ton of other snare drums. Like, digitally, if you need to. Chino, I've listened to Crosses, I know you have the ability. Another thing is I feel like Chino needed his side projects to really get re-inspired with Deftones. Like, I feel like this is truly the most inspired he's felt in a Deftones project in a hot minute. My favorite song is Infinite Source, and then my least favorite, maybe CXZ. Is it supposed to be like sexy? Like, I don't know what CXZ means. Constants and Zeros. I've been reading it as sexy. And I say this is my least favorite track, but this one does have some of the best drums on the album. So like, I don't know. Like, sometimes I'm hypocritical in my own rankings. I acknowledge it. I'm trying to be as objective as possible, but this is ultimately like my opinions about everything. So yeah, incredible album from Deftones. Thank God that you guys are in the top 10. Like, y'all really pulled through this year. I'm very proud of y'all. Number 8. Wishbone by Conan Gray. I haven't met a single person who said that they didn't like this album. I have a reaction to this album on my channel. This probably is my favorite Conan project. As much as I love Found Heaven, like Found Heaven just spoke to me so deeply. Conan sat down and put his whole Conacy into this. His wish bussy, if you will. If you want my deeper opinions on it, you can go check out my reaction video that I did to it. My favorite track is Nauseous, and my least favorite track is Connell. I believe in the original video I said my least favorite song was Class Clown. That's not necessarily accurate anymore. I also can't remember if what I'm saying now is accurate because I don't remember what I actually put in my original video, but I don't really think that there's a bad song on this project. And I think it is very beautiful. The live string arrangements, he's working with Dan Nigro again. I very much appreciate that. He created his most authentic, the songwriting on this is beautiful and the concept is beautiful. The instrumentals are beautiful. His vocals are beautiful. This is the best he's ever sounded. So Found Heaven, I will always miss you. Look, I've got my Found Heaven necklace right here. I love Found Heaven as a project so much. But Conan, Wishbone, congratulations. But do not forget about Miss Found Heaven. Whenever I saw you live at Red Rocks this year, I heard you only play 2 songs from Found Heaven. As much as I love Never Ending Song of Bourgeoisie's is Where Was Boys and Girls? Where Was Miss You? I've always been in the minority of people who like didn't really care that much about Ally Rose. I think people liked Ally Rose so much because it reminded them of old Conan. But I just love the sound of Found Heaven so much that I'm like, no, give me more of this. Anyways, this isn't a Found Heaven video. This is about Wishbone right now. At number 7, Addison by Addison Rae. Guys, this album so snuck up on me, and I was not expecting to like it as much as I do. In fact, I was an Addison Rae hater, and this is also another album I have a reaction video to on this channel. I was a massive Addison hater up until I heard this album, and I was like, I really have no choice but to stand. I've talked about Addison ad nauseum on this channel. This album is incredible. It's almost perfect. What I'd like to see from Addison moving forward is her diving deeper into her songwriting. She's already got a sound that puts her apart from everyone else and like very unique. This is something that like I do believe like, okay, this is specifically Addison sound. Whenever I hear a beat like this, that is an Addison type beat. Y'all know I can't stand it whenever people are shallow. Even on the shallow moments on this album, there's depth to it. There's satire, there's sarcasm, there's like playful tongue-in-cheek moments, but then it's also like she's very serious about this. This is what she wants. This is who she is. Like, she's a pop star. She's doing an incredible job at pop star. My favorite song is In the Rain. And then, you know, Diet Pepsi's a close second. And then my least favorite song is Summer Forever. That's still a song that I just can't really get behind. I don't know. Love songs, they don't usually work for me, but I'd love for them to one day work for me. I'd love for one day to be able to relate to some. I did see her live this year, and seeing Summer Forever live was really fun. But the same with like seeing all of her songs live, I was like, wow, seeing all of her music live like really makes me appreciate the fact that I got to see Von Dutch by Charlie XCX live, and I didn't have to go to a Charlie XCX concert is really gratifying for me because I wanted to go see the Sweat Tour very badly to get to. I'm not gonna be mad about that because we have number 6, the last album in the great category, A Matter of Time by LavenderX. So A Matter of Time was originally in the perfection category, and I feel bad that she has now been bumped down to number 6, but there's an album, I will talk about it. There's an album that I listened to and I was like, everyone hold the up. I was not expecting her. I was unfamiliar with your game. I was not expecting you to come out of the blue and blow me away like that. So unfortunately, that did mean that Leve had to go. So sorry to Leve. Love you as an artist, as a person, as a musician, as a songwriter. A Matter of Time is still a perfect album in my eyes. If I had to pick a least favorite, if you put a gun in my mouth, that wouldn't even be the worst thing. What's the worst thing somebody could threaten me with? If someone held me down and said if I didn't answer, Jojo Siwa was gonna release new music, it would be Clean Air is probably my least favorite song, but I love it. I love listening to Clean Air. There's not a bad track. I don't know why I was being so nice to Hazlitt. Why is he the only one that doesn't get any? Anyway, sorry, I promise to never be nicer to a man than I am to a woman ever again. I've gone this far in my life without doing that. I can continue that trend. Hazlitt, my least favorite song on your project? I can't think of one. We'll come back to that one day, not in this video. Leve, my favorite song on this is Seems Like Old Times. Why is that a bonus track? That should be on the standard version. I understand that I can listen to it on everything. Yeah, this really perfect song with absolutely no flaws and some of my best songwriting, we'll keep it a secret. You better put that on everything. You better make that the opening track to this album. Anyway, Seems Like Old Time is my favorite off this album. What A Matter of Time does really well is, as a concept, it's very cohesive. The sound is diverse, but you can follow the through line and be all these songs go together. The fact that halfway through the album it's broken up by an instrumental interlude called the Cuckoo Ballet, which interpolates all the previous songs. So it's kind of you're sitting at a jazz show. Right after Too Little Too Late, intermission's announced. You come back from intermission and the Cuckoo Ballet interlude comes on and you get a recap of what you just witnessed in Act 1, and then you enter Act 2. Such a clever way to do an album because you really do tell the story. Beautiful, incredible work. And keeping the interlude under 4 minutes is absolutely wild considering you just recapped 7 tracks. It flows straight into Forget Me Not, which is a beautiful song. I think part of the reason this album is so incredible is because her songwriting, she delves into a lot of topics that other songwriters just can't. Other songwriters are not going to be able to write Forget Me Not because they don't have the experience that Leve has. Same thing with Snow White. There's not many songwriters that would put it the way that Leve put it, nor are able to write from that perspective. And then she can also be humorous on songs like Mr. Eclectic and Tough Luck. And also Mr. Eclectic is so fucking real. I don't know why that song is so short because men are embarrassing. Why are you trying that hard to be interesting? Men will do anything to be interesting, and what's so funny is as a species, men are just not. And that's wonderful. I don't think men need interests or hobbies. I think they should just be pretty and be in love with me. If I had a boyfriend, I would be so good to him. He could I would keep him inside, keep him safe, and he could go outside sometimes as a little treat. He's not allowed to see other people in the physical sense. He's not allowed to see other people. Thank you, Leve, for such an incredible album. That means that is the end of the great category. And instead of jumping into my top 5 albums of the year, we're going to quickly get into the 2 albums I put in disappointing. Some of y'all are about to be mad at me. So before we get into disappointing, I want to say this video is very long. And last year I mentioned specific albums that didn't make it into the ranking, but still needed to be talked about. This year on my Patreon, I'm making a separate video. So you can find this full video actually kind of longer and uncensored, plus the copyrighted music that I have to play on Patreon because there's a lot that I have to cut for YouTube. And then over on the Patreon, there'll be a separate video where I talk about albums that I listened to but did not get to rank. We'll be talking about my favorite EPs. We'll be literally all the EPs I listened to this year, we're talking about them. And we'll also be talking about my favorite songs that came out this year. And that'll be its own video on the Patreon. So go check that out if you're interested. You don't have to, obviously, but every subscriber, even if you just go I think the video will be up for sale by itself. So, if you just want to watch that video, that also helps me out a lot, helps me fulfill my dreams. This is what I want to be doing full time. It's just very difficult because I have a full time. Yeah, that video, we're going to talk about Perverts by Ethel Cain, Alligator Bites Never Heal by Doechii, West End Girl, Lily Allen, Ego Death at a Bachelorette Party, Hayley Williams, Something Beautiful, Miley Cyrus. We're gonna talk about a lot. We might even talk about Magdalena Bay a little bit there. But yeah, let's get into the disappointing category. At number 36. I guess technically number 34. Everyone needs to be really nice to me about this. The Life of a Showgirl by Taylor Swift. Y'all know that I'm a Taylor Swift fan. Y'all know that I went to go see the Eras Tour and ride or die for her. This is the first album I cannot defend, and I justify listening to it because it makes me unhappy. With Taylor's past albums, there's been some stuff that I don't care for, but I can like certain aspects of it. There's also been stuff that I'm very deeply obsessed in, fully engulfed by. This album has no redeemable qualities to me. I like the chorus of Opalite because it's catchy. The verses do not captivate me. I can appreciate the chorus of The Fate of Ophelia, despite actually having quite a few issues with the structure, the instrumental, the production, the lyrics. And I could make a full video on why this doesn't work, and I think I might. So I don't want to talk too deep about it, especially because this video is long. It's hard to listen to this album and enjoy it. I was going through looking for what's my least favorite song? And I had too many options. And then I looked through and I went, what's my favorite song? And I said, well, the chorus of Opalite's catchy. Overall, this album was not interesting. I say this all with regret because I was excited for this album. I genuinely was. Some of y'all will defend this album with your life, and if that's how you want to spend your energy, more power to you. This album, to me, wasn't just bad in my opinion. It was objectively bad in the ways that I've studied music and been how did you get these legends in a room together and go this wrong with an album? Because Max Martin and Shellback are pop music legends. You got them on this album and they produced the most bland, tasteless, generic, uninteresting, mediocre, milquetoast, run-of-the-mill production I could have possibly thought of. And it's not even that it's generic, it's that it's boring. You can be generic and have something interesting to offer. Nobody came to this with any ideas that were captivating. And to be fair, she's in a point in her life where she has every reason to be out of touch. She has the man of her dreams. She's the most successful she's ever been. She came off a tour that people only dream of being on. I will admit the Eras Tour was life-changing for so many people, including myself. There's no discrediting the success and the influence and the impact that she has had on the music industry, on these people's lives that she's worked with and met. I understand that even as a political figure, she is very controversial, and I acknowledge that. I don't want to talk too deep about that because I could make a separate video about that, and I just want to say this album was very out of touch. Her lyricism has never been faultier. Whenever I enjoy her debut album, an album she wrote at 16 more than I do an album she wrote at 35, it's difficult. This is a hard listen. This is a very hard listen. I really regret to say it. Second worst album of the year, in my opinion, number 35, Conflict DLC by Health. So this isn't as bad as Life of a Showgirl. In fact, this was almost put in the mediocre category, but I felt bad because The Life of a Showgirl was just sitting here by herself, and I was like, damn, that's a little harsh. And to be fair, I don't like this new Health album. I'm a pretty big Health fan. I've listened to all of their albums up until Rat Wars. I haven't listened to Rat Wars. And so maybe because Conflict DLC acts as a sister album to Rat Wars, I need to listen to that album to understand this one. I went into this being so excited, being there's a new Health release. Can't wait to get into it. I don't know why I didn't listen to Rat Wars. I've just been busy the last 2 years. But Disco 4, Part 1 and Part 2, incredible albums, perfect albums in my opinion, especially as far as part of what Health does is they blend genres very well in the vein of shoegaze and alternative and indie rock and electronica. This album was just so bland to me. Should I get buccal fat removal? I really thought that this album was going somewhere whenever it started because Ordinary Loss was actually very hype. But then we get into Burn the Candles and I was then we get into Vibe Cop and Trash Decade, and I'm not only did it feel like we were recycling the same beat throughout this album, but it felt like we weren't getting anywhere as far as the story of this album goes. Then Torture 2 was a very short instrumental interlude, and then we went to Antidote, and I was like, okay, finally something is happening. Antidote was a very great listen. Then we go to Dark Age, and I was like, oh my god, yes, this is what I was looking for. I was looking for the Health. It not just hits hard, but feels emotional, feels different, feels airy, feels dreamy, feels spacey. I wanted that atmospheric, emotional energy that Health has always provided. I wanted diversity on this album. After Dark Age, is it Dark Age or Dark Age? I'm pretty sure it's Dark Age. We go into Shred Envy. I was excited for Shred Envy. I was like, okay. Immediately we go back to that beat that we were going to the first 4 tracks. I go, okay. And after Shred Envy, it's essentially just recycle of the same we heard from the beginning of the album. So we had like that 2-track break of songs that I really enjoyed, and then I was bored again. How are you gonna have me bored listening to a Health album? I love Health. I think that Health is they're such a talented band. This did not interest me. This album was actually really well reviewed by a lot of people. I don't know if I just don't get it, but I was pretty sick of a floor on the floor drum beat by the end of this album. I'd say Wasted Years was pretty good. I didn't like the beginning, but towards the end, it gets really intense and I loved it. I felt like somebody was like threatening me and I was really into it. And that's what I love about Health. Like they make me feel so many different emotions. Bored is not usually one of them. I was very bored listening to this album. It just wasn't diverse. The sound was not very diverse. I literally felt like I was listening to the same song over and over again. And right now I could not tell you the difference between like Vibe Cop and Thought Leader. Maybe I could, I don't know. I've listened to this album maybe 3 times max. So now that we're done with the disappointing albums, we're casting that negative energy away and we're getting into my top 5 albums of the year. At number 5, Willoughby Tucker, I Will Always Love You by Ethel Cain.
Cooking our brain, smoking that shit that he smoked in Vietnam.
I have a reaction video to this, but I haven't finished editing it because this is kind of whenever I decided I don't want to do reaction videos anymore. Reaction videos are so hard to do. They're not like quick editing. I can get them out, and with a full-time job, no. Also, I don't want y'all to look me up and be like, that's a reaction YouTuber. No, I'm a pop star. First and foremost, I know music. I'm a performer, I'm a pop star, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter. We're gonna keep talking about music because like music is what I know. Music is the thing that I am the most proficient in. So that's why we're doing this right now. We're talking about one of the best albums that I've heard this year. Ethel Cain, you really did that. I can't wait to see you in April at Red Rocks. My favorite songs are Janie, Tempest, and Dust Bowl. So Tempest actually made me cry, changed my life, and this album also made me really appreciate instrumental interludes. There are a lot of them on this album. That usually pisses me off a little bit. Not here. The instrumental interludes are absolutely essential to the story. So Willoughby Tucker, I'll Always Love You is actually a prequel, despite being Ethel Cain's sophomore album. It's a prequel to her debut album, I was about to say her American Teenager album. No, Preacher's Daughter. Do not let me disrespect her again like that. So this tells the story of Ethel Cain falling in love with Willoughby Tucker. They get into a relationship. He is too mentally unwell because of the abuse he endured, his drug use, to remain in this relationship, and he leaves her. The last thing he says to Ethel is something along the lines of, I'm not well enough to be better for you. You want me to be better, and I can't be. That is one of the last things he says to her before she runs off with some stranger and gets killed by him. How f***ed up is that? Willoughby Tucker, f*** you. Anyways, it's not his fault. He was going through a lot. They were both going through a lot. And I can't fault them. They were kids dealing with very intense emotional, physical, man versus society type struggles. Both of their parents are abusive. I can't blame them for the way that things ended out. It's just very tragic to hear about. Throughout this album though, on top of the sound being so cohesive and very visual, like the production, especially on Tempest and Radio Towers, where you're like, I'm in the room with them and the storm is happening. I hear the storm without the actual storm sounds being there. Like, there's something so impressive with the way that Hayden was able to make it sound like you were in the place without using actual sounds from the place. One time she did that was with the hospital beeping. But then again, they weren't in the hospital. It was actually to signify the accident that Willoughby was in without actually telling you they're in the hospital, because they weren't in the hospital whenever Tempest starts and they break up. When Willoughby leaves, we do actually hear the hospital monitor, the heart monitor, but it was more to signify the end of the relationship than the actual accident that Willoughby was in. Knock on the Door, the way her vocals are edited and mixed, it's almost like hiding. Like you can tell that she's hiding or he's hiding. Like they're trying to avoid something. Like it almost sounds like you're listening to her play from the other side of the bathroom door. She's locked herself in. She's playing her guitar in the bathtub. The way she sings that song is so haunting. And I think it's a double meaning as well, where she talks about like, I'd know you by your knock on the door, I'd know you by your footsteps on the floor. Almost as if like, I love you so much that I recognize the way your body moves. I can hear it. At the same time, I'm so scared of the men in my life that I have memorized your footsteps to know when you're approaching. Knock on the Door is beautiful, even if I don't listen to it that much, even if it was one of the ones that's lower on my ranking. This is a perfect album to me, and I'm not gonna skip that one. I think that song is absolutely beautiful. It's so haunting, so beautifully written, as is every song on this album. Opening up with Janie, God, just a song about losing your best friend. Like, we've all kind of had that happen where like our best friend gets swept up in a relationship and suddenly they don't have time for us or they're not paying as much attention to us. And it's like part of it is Ethel addressing Janie and the other, like the majority of the song is her addressing the new partner or Ethel's replacement. And she's going, remember that she was mine first. I know everything about her and it's gonna take you so long to figure these things out. I will know her in a way that you will never know her. Ending the song with she was my sister first, oh, breaks my heart every time. And obviously Dust Bowl. I always think of the Beyonce video where she like breaks the glass. I need to find that for y'all.
Brand smoking that shit that he smoked in Vietnam.
Like that song is so beautifully. Can I read the verses for y'all? All of Alabama laid out in front of your eyes, but all you could see was me. You walked in, you were singing. You tried to wade in because you wanted just to tell me who you were. You were kind, dying to tell me you'll wait if I have to make sure. Pretty boy, scared of the rain by God, tend to the row of your violets with your eyes all over me, watching, hoping the wind blows slowly so I can keep you a moment. Because we know his biggest fear is the weather. Ethel never admits this because she wants to think that he is perfect. Think that like she is this pillar of strength and masculinity that she is lacking in her life. The pillar of strength and masculinity that she has been needing her entire life. And this pressure is too much for him. And that is why he leaves her in the storm. He leaves her during a twister. He goes outside in this twister, which is his biggest fear because he cannot take the intensity of her love. Watching, hoping the wind blows slowly so I can keep you a moment. She knows he is going to leave, and because his greatest fear is the weather, it makes the perfect metaphor for the storm of their relationship to reach its climax. And that is why she's saying, I'm hoping the storm never comes because I want to keep you just a little longer. Anyway, I'm getting too worked up, but this album is so good. I'm really hoping they were just smoking weed because what do you mean cooking our brains, smoking that your daddy smoked in Vietnam? It better not be something crazy. Y'all are 16. And I remember like looking this up, like what were they smoking? Like what is she alluding to here? People on the Reddit being like, well, they're 16. I hope they weren't smoking anything crazy. Girl, she has music about cannibalism. She has multiple songs about cannibalism. What do you mean like, well, they're 16. I hope not. Girl, we're like beyond like smoking meth. This girl got pimped out, put in a freezer and cannibalized. Talking about, but drugs for minors? We're beyond the drugs. We're beyond. Anyway, I just thought it was so strange that on the Ethel Cain subreddit of all places, people were like, no, guys, I really hope that like it wasn't anything too bad. Girl, y'all know what happens to Ethel Cain. What if she was smoking meth at 16? She died at 16 anyway. Or no, she died at 18, right? She died in 1991, that's all I know. We have to move on. We have to move on because I can't talk about Willoughby Tucker forever. Looks by Rosalia. Rosalia. So I was so unfamiliar with her game. Like I have listened to Motomami. I don't believe I've listened to El Mal Querer. Is that her debut album? I don't believe that I've listened to that, but I have listened to Motomami. I listened to it back in 2022 whenever it came out, and I do love that album. I was unfamiliar with how truly talented she is. I threw on this album thinking like, it's gonna be good. I'm gonna enjoy it, maybe put it in the great category. Instantly in perfection. What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, first of all, it's not just the vocal ability, it's the songwriting. And it's not just the songwriting, it is the fact that she sang in 13 different languages on this album. There is a song specifically on this album where she speaks 4 languages. And if I recall correctly, Spanish, Latin, English, and Japanese on the same song. Oh, she's crazy. I'm not even joking. The entire time that I'm listening to this album, my mouth is just completely open. And I said out loud to myself numerous times, is she crazy? Like, we made it so far into the album that even by Berghain, I was still like, what the is going on? Bjork's part in Berghain, like, I was shook. And what's crazy is Berghain isn't even my favorite song on this album. Like, there's so many incredible moments. Sauvignon Blanc, Divinize, and Mio Cristo Piange Diamanti. Mio Cristo Piange Diamanti specifically, I believe she sings Spanish and Italian on this song. Tell me why I was like, what is this song about? I Googled the English translation, crying in my car. I start crying in my car at 7 a.m. reading the English translation of this song. This album is religious in nature, but also has a very, like, I want to say there's a self-discovery aspect to this album. It's so multifaceted. It's not just about religion and discovering yourself. It's also about legends, and like legends in the sense of like myths and old tales and the stories of saints. It's about sex. It's about the human experience. It's about things that we consider of our world but are actually transcendent to the human body. To say that human nature is inherently spiritual and then you can discover feelings beyond what you believed capable for humans. Like, the human capacity for experience is limited in our minds, but unlimited spiritually, if that makes sense. Like, that's what this album gave me. And it's not denominational either. Like, you don't have to practice one religion. A lot of the visuals with this era can be associated with Catholicism, especially a lot of the themes running through this album, but it never feels like a Catholic album. It doesn't feel like Catholic music. The production also, I have to give it its 10s. Incredible work. But yeah, I didn't even read the English translation to Sauvignon Blanc. I was just sobbing. And like, I know an album is good whenever I'm crying multiple times throughout it. One thing I don't understand is why Memoria is not the last track, but Magnolias is. Like, I feel like those two could have been flipped. I don't know. I'm not going to second guess her. She made a perfect album. De Madua is always getting stuck in my head. De Madua, De Madua, De Madua, De Madua. So fun. La Perla was actually a great choice for another single because I feel like it's easier to get into than the rest of the tracks on this album. And this is another album where I'm like, listen to it front to back to understand it. Porcelana is also beautiful. Yeah, I've listened to this album numerous times. It's been on repeat since I first heard it. And this is one of the most perfect albums I've ever heard in my life. So obviously it had to go at number 4. Number 3, Mayhem by Lady Gaga. I have a reaction to this album on my channel, so I won't go too deep into it. I've seen a lot of complaints, I've seen a lot of critiques. I won't accept anything because this album is perfect. Every time I think like, yeah, the album was like kind of mid compared to some other albums, I will go back and listen to it and be like, oh yeah, I forgot. This album is perfect. And that's really all I have to say about it. If you want my full like thoughts on it, you can go check out my video on it. My favorite songs are Abracadabra, How Bad Do You Want Me, and Shadow of a Man. At number 2, Eusexua by FKA Twigs. Now, if y'all remember earlier, I said that Afterglow is the weaker of the two projects, and Afterglow is actually at number 12. So for Eusexua to be a whole 10 spots above, I hope I did not scare y'all with the way I ranked Afterglow, because Eusexua is a perfect album. One of my favorite albums that's ever come out. I've mentioned before on this channel that Magdalene changed my life. And as an album, I still love Magdalene. This is my favorite FKA Twigs project. I can't get enough of Eusexua. And I truly understand like what she means by the feeling of Eusexua. Like, it is a transcendent state of being. I feel like as someone who like has kind of come up in the past 2 years in the party scene, like especially as someone who doesn't drink and kind of feels everything very raw, it is a different feeling coming up through scenes of euphoria and just feeling your body enter a different state. There is something different about performing, dancing, clubbing, and the best way I can describe it is a sense of Eusexua. She has come up with the perfect word for it, and this album perfectly describes how it feels. My favorite songs are Eusexua, Striptease, and 24-Hour Dog. 24-Hour Dog is really interesting to me as far as like why I love it, because like I don't like the idea of being submissive, sacrificing control. I've talked to my therapist about this many times, but 24-Hour Dog oh my god, as a song is so beautifully done. Feels like submission. It feels like sacrificing control. It's like, whenever I think of 24 Hour Dog, that is the level of like horny that y'all were describing about Moisturizer by Wet Leg. 3-4, anything you wish for. I'm a slave to your design. So work me to satisfy the core of your mind. Your love chores distract me from my worst flaws, setting free the softest part of me. Gets dangerous sometimes. Feel guilty that it's getting me high. That is horny. Like that is truly horny. We're back on the camera for the last bit of this. Anyway, as far as like how it relates to me, I don't really understand because as I've mentioned, I don't like the idea of submission, but I love the way that she, like, I can feel the horniness and like the instrumentals. Like, this is truly what it feels like. Like I need to get out of my skin. I need to let go. Like that feeling of being that level of horny. Don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. Don't make me explain this to you. Anyway, like, yeah, Eusexual, like, absolutely incredible album. This album describes feelings that I don't feel like there's any other way to describe. Deluxua, I don't know about her. I don't know why you would replace some of my favorite tracks, like Girl Feels Good. Keep It, Hold It, replacing that one is crazy. Striptease being replaced with a remix. I actually love the remix of Striptease. It's incredible. So the #1 album that came out this year is Everyone Prepared. I feel like this was a little predictable, but my favorite album,
I
Virgin.
don't belong to anyone.
I feel like everyone could have seen this coming. I did go see the Ultrasound tour. I have never cried harder at a show in my life. I saw Conan Gray perform Family Line twice and cried less about having an absent father than I did whenever she started playing Liability. It wasn't even like Liability, it was the end of Big Star. She said, I miss you, Pearl. Instant tears. And then the first chord, that C sharp major, started to Liability, and instantly, I have the picture. I had to apologize to the girl next to me and tell her that I was sorry that I was crying so much. And she talked for like 5 minutes and I was like crying the entire time, just sobbing, like ugly crying. My mom had to read me and she said, you look like the ghost of an old maid. I was really like, girl, it got me. This album is just so beautiful. There's not a bad song on it. It's one of the most perfect albums I've ever heard. Lorde, in my opinion, has never let me down. I know a lot of you will disagree with that, but Lorde has truly never let me down. I've seen a lot of hate for this, but recently it started to grow on a lot of people. My favorite song on the project is Current Affairs, and this is actually gonna go ahead and be my song of the year. How far are you willing to go to take the innocence I've preserved for you? Do y'all mind if I get pissed off? I truly don't think that this year there has been a more vulnerable, visceral album. This album feels like she like cut herself open down the middle and let everything she had inside of her spill out. I'm getting worked up, but it's worth it for this album. The way that she's like, she could do crazy shit with her vocals. She could do some sort of like, spit in my mouth like he's saying a prayer. Like, she could do something really crazy with her vocals, but she keeps it so short, staccato, and gives it to you straight. She's not trying to impress you. She's trying to tell you what she is feeling, what she's going through. And then the chorus, cause my bed is on fire. Mama, I'm so scared. Were you ever like this once you went out on the edge? He spit in my mouth like he's saying a prayer, but now I'm crying on the phone swearing nothing's wrong. Because like this feeling is so familiar. I could cry talking about it right now. This feeling is so familiar to me. To some people, sex doesn't mean anything, but to Lorde, she's saying you're taking such a spiritual part of me. And it harkens back to the title of Virgin, like this idea of purity, something like treasured, unique, beautiful, something that has to be taken from you. And she's like, I don't know if I'm willing to give it. Obviously, the concept of virginity is all a construct, and it has misogynistic, religious roots, Puritan roots. I know that Lorde is aware of this, but playing with the concept of like, this is something, I keep using the word visceral, but it is like an internal, like this is how you are to your core. This is how she feels. She is afraid of these feelings, and she explores that through the album so well. Like, who told her that song was okay? That's my song of the year. I'm so sorry. Like, Current Affairs, you just cannot beat that song. Obviously, I don't think that there's a bad song on this album at all, and I'm sorry for spending so much time on Current Affairs. We do need to talk about, like, Hammer, or Shapeshifter, or What Was That, or Favorite Daughter, or Man of the Year. Another song that has such a visceral meaning to me. I keep using the word visceral. This song means so much to me, especially as someone who identifies with gender expressions that are very confusing. Or putting it simply as in, I'm a man except for the days that I'm not, like, just has always rung so true to me. Ever since she said that, I was like, that is exactly how I feel. Obviously, my gender has been a journey for a very, very long time. My gender doesn't really have a label. It's everything, it's nothing, it's one thing, it's two things. It's everything kind of all at once. Man of the Year helped me feel so validated in that, especially because it's, like, my gender is kind of something that I've always kind of tried to push to the wayside and be like, it doesn't matter, especially because, like, trying to date, trying to fall in love. Don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of issues in the gay community with bigotry. Stop saying that gay people are the most progressive people in the world. We have so much work to do as a community. Like, y'all are worried that we're spreading the woke mind virus. It hasn't even made its rounds through us yet. Yeah, her asking, who's gonna love me like this? Who's gonna give me lightness? Let it flow down through me. I'm not even reading the lyrics right now, because if I do, I will probably start crying. But just thinking about the track Man of the Year. It doesn't have to have that meaning for everyone, but it's taken on a very personal meaning for me as far as my gender discovery has gone. In the same vein, the songs like Grown Woman, Broken Glass, If She Could See Me Now, it's like learning to grow and love yourself and accept yourself through the healing process. Especially with If She Could See Me Now, I love that song. Then nothing gets more vulnerable than Clear Blue on this album, because Clear Blue is so stripped back on purpose to really give light to the storytelling. And that's kind of always where I think Lorde has excelled, is in her storytelling, in her lyrics. And I could talk forever about this album, but I want to finish talking about David. Wait, maybe I can't. Maybe I can't talk about it without getting too emotional, because it's almost midnight. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, good night, everyone. Make sure to like, subscribe, all the YouTube things, and I will see you guys in the next one. You guys truly mean the world to me.